Hello, my name is Alfred Brock with CNC News Co., and we're going to be taking a look at The Woman They Could Not Silence. This is by Kate Moore, and it's about Elizabeth Packard. I recommend this book about Elizabeth Packard, Packard, and I also recommend everything that Elizabeth Packard wrote. Now, I am going to get Elizabeth Packard's books shortly, but I just wanted to read you a couple of excerpts from this particular one. Okay. One of the men who was testifying against her and her beliefs had this to say on her view of religion. Her viewing of the subject of religion, continued Brown pompously, his doctor's sensibility offended by the amused reaction of the crowd, from the austeric standpoint of Christian exegetical analysis and agglutinating the polysynthetical ectoblasts of homogeneous asceticism, period, unquote. Okay. He actually said that. He got laughed out of the courtroom. So, I'm going to talk about godliness being profitable. You may have heard that a lot in religious circles where you do such a certain thing. You donate money, you get money back. Well, let's hear what she has to say about that. She read her essay entitled How Godliness is Profitable. In it, she'd answered the question of whether a Christian farmer might expect more success in his labors than a sinner. A question to which Theophilus' church, that's her husband, had resolutely answered yes. So if you were good and you did everything, then you'd earn more money. Yet the evidence in their own farming community had belied that stance. I think we have no intelligent reason for believing the motives with which we prosecute our secular business have any influence in the pecuniary results, unquote. Elizabeth therefore argued in her essay. She espoused that man's physical, intellectual, and spiritual realms operated independently. For instance, she said aloud in the courtroom, a very immoral man may be very healthy, long-lived man. But that did not mean she thought godliness unprofitable. The profits of godliness cannot mean simply pecuniary profits, because this world would limit the gain of godliness to this world alone. Elizabeth explained, whereas it is profitable not only for this life, but also for the life to come. She stated, happiness and misery are coins which are current in both worlds. Therefore, it appears to me that happiness is the profit attendant upon godliness. So there you go. Now, one last thing. This is going to be a little bit long, but let's check it out. Hang in there. Pray for her, he urged. She is a very sick person, this man said. The woman in question stood before him, the only man in a room of men. She pointed a finger. She spoke back. A woman who refused to be silenced. He suspected there was something wrong with her upstairs. How else to explain this unhinged meltdown in which she dared to defy him? It could have been Elizabeth Packard confronting McFarland, who was the doctor that locked her up in the fall of 1860, but it was in fact Nancy Pelosi versus Donald Trump way back in October 2019. So history favors reruns, the author states. Now, because this pernicious accusation of insanity, deliberately intended to undermine, haunts the annals of history like a spirit photograph, unsettling, and at times unseen. It is there in politics, acting as a dead weight to drag back the forces of change. The suffragettes in the 1900s seemed to be suffering from hysteria. The civil rights activists in the 1960s, masses diagnosed with schizophrenia. Once the diagnostic goalpost had been deliberately moved to accommodate their perceived threat. Martha Beale Mitchell was a Watergate whistleblower, and she was forcibly tranquilized by a psychiatrist when she exposed dirty politics in 1972. Her name is now synonymous with misdiagnoses when facts are dismissed as delusions. And it is there too in private homes, with women sent to asylums for bearing illegitimate children, for being lesbian, for being themselves. You have to hide your feelings, said one 20th century patient, in a direct echo of the 7th Ward women. Pretend everything is wonderful if you want to get out. And the writer continues, it is a tale as old as time. In 1687, Daniel Defoe railed against the, quote, vile practice now so much in vogue. Men sending their wives to madhouses at every whim or dislike, unquote. And it's still around now, shadowing our society. And there's a reason why. As Elizabeth put it 160 years ago, what is an insane person's testimony worth? Nothing. Well, there we go. I recommend the book highly. The Woman They Could Not Silence by Kate Moore. And it's all about Elizabeth Packard, and we'll hear more about her in the future. This is Alfred Brock with CNC News Co. Thank you and have a great day.